everyone, it's Friedia here, and today, as you see in the title, I want to talk to you about babies and conceiving after the age of 30. Just like any modern woman, I waited. I put my career first, got married later on, and we didn't really rush into making babies, but I wish I knew what I know now to tell myself back then to maybe hurry it up a little or get a little kick in the butt about thinking about babies, because I wasn't really in that mindset. I knew I wanted to have one. I actually wanted 3, but I also thought, hey, I'll be 35 and I'll start popping out babies then, and I can stop when I'm 40 something. It actually hasn't been that easy, and I didn't really know what the real struggle was until I am actually in it at this moment. I am trying to have a baby, and it is a lot harder than I thought. I have been healthy my whole life, never did drugs, don't drink alcohol. I'm not a goody good girl, but I never really had the interest into all the bad habits of life. So I always thought that when it was time, it would happen right away, but unfortunately it's not. If you do go to an OBGYN and you are in between the ages of 20 something to 35, then they will probably tell you that the new norm is 1 year to 2 years until you can finally conceive. That's a long time. And then if you can't conceive, then they recommend you going to the doctor. And if you're over 35 and you cannot conceive in 6 months, then you have to go to the doctor to get a checkup. So the reason why I wanted to make this video was because I've noticed some friends around me that are also trying to conceive don't really talk about it. It's sort of a hush-hush thing, or it's a taboo thing of talking about the struggles and what they're dealing with. So what I wanted to do today is share with you guys what I have tried, and maybe you guys can share with me and other viewers of what you've tried and what has worked for you, what hasn't worked for you, and just have this open page of where we can freely talk to each other and also encourage each other that it's gonna happen and you're gonna be a mother and it's gonna be okay, you're gonna be fine, because we need that support. My husband and I, we've been trying for, I would say, consecutively, like really trying for the past 7-8 months. And the way that I'm calculating everything is in the beginning, I did the BBT, the bottle basal temperature, BBT. I think I got it right. There's a lot of codes, by the way, which I'm still learning. I have done the OPK. I also did fertility acupuncture. And I have been taking a lot of vitamins. If you don't know what a BBT is, which I didn't know 6 months ago, it's a body basal temperature, which means that every morning before you get out of bed at the same time, you're gonna just take your temperature and you're gonna write it down onto this little graph. There you can see when you'll be ovulating, and during that time is when you want to try to do the deed. Now for OPK, which is an Ovulation Predictor Kit, you pee on this little stick every morning and it will tell you when, I think it's 48 to 72 hours when you should try to conceive, try to do the deed during that time, because that's the time that you are ovulating. So I actually did that for a good 3-4 months, and then after a while I started getting stressed out because it wasn't happening and it was just so much work. So at the moment I stopped, but I might go back on it. I'm still struggling emotionally on what to do if that's going to stress me out, because one of the biggest things for us ladies is that you shouldn't be stressed. You should be really relaxed. You cannot conceive until your body is fully ready. And I've heard stories of doctors telling women that they won't be able to conceive, that it's impossible, and then finally when they just give up and just think it's not going to happen, then that's when they have a baby. It actually happened to my friend. They tried for 2 years, and the moment she thought she was just not going to be a mom, it happened. So you really just want to be relaxed and not overwhelm yourself. For the fertility acupuncture, I would go in every week, and you get needles. I would get them on my face and around your ovary area, and I guess the whole meaning is just to get me relaxed and de-stress. And then the time that you are ovulating, she would actually do little electrocutions. She would put little needles around your ovary and kind of just electrocute it a little bit to stimulate your ovaries. So I did that for a good 4 months. Then there's the whole thing of after you do the deed. I have done the keep your legs up, or I kind of keep them up and crouched over like this. I've put a pillow under my hips and kind of raised them up. My friends have actually done handstands, or actually headstands. They can't do it handstand. They kind of flip upside down. I know it's ridiculous, but these are the things that we go through trying to conceive a child. I know it's insane, but there's so many different things that I'm finding out that it's actually really fascinating for me, because everyone is different. Everyone who conceives is different. The way that you figure out you're pregnant is different. So it's really interesting hearing what other people do. Another interesting one that I found out is after you've done the deed, you get a hot water bottle and wrap it with a towel, and you put it in between your legs up against your stuff. I guess that warmth helps the sperm swim in further. Another one that I have not tried, but I am curious, is after you've done the deed, is putting in a menstrual cup. And other things that I have been doing or have been trying to keep consistent are exercising. You don't want to lose too much weight or gain too much weight, because that also affects the body and it will be harder to conceive. I have been doing yoga. I heard that a lot of the twisting and turning helps with your ovaries and eggs and everything. Been trying that. I also heard that hula dancing helps. Has anyone tried that? This little movement that you do with your hips is really good for it. These are things that what my friends have told me, or what I have found online. And definitely just eating healthy. This should just be all the time anyways, but I have been trying to eat as healthy as possible, just eating a lot of leafy greens whenever I can, and definitely taking your vitamins. I remember one of the first things that my doctor told me was, even though you're not pregnant, pretend that you are. So start taking your prenatal vitamins, start taking as much, anything that has a lot of vitamins, minerals, nutrients. You just want to get as much as you can. For prenatal vitamins, I had the hardest time, and I still have the hardest time, just drinking down the really big horse pills. I couldn't do it. I cut it in half and it would stab my throat. I crushed it and then it just tasted disgusting. Thankfully, I have found these prenatal petite mini tablets from Rainbow Light. Yes. And they are just really easy to swallow, even though they aren't capsule, but they are really, really tiny. They do have a green taste to it, but look at that, you guys. It's so small compared to like, that was over exaggerating, but the big ones, I just couldn't do it. So these really help me a lot. And the gummy ones are disgusting. It was so gross. This aftertaste, ugh. Along with my prenatals, other things that I have been taking are vitamin D, and I got this in the liquid form because your body is just will absorb it quicker. And this, you only need 1 drop underneath your tongue, and it's a whole bottle. It won't go away. Vitamin D is what you need, and it's the hardest vitamin to get out of food. So highly recommend that. The superfood maca powder, and it's a root, and it really helps with fertility and hormones and all that. I have been putting this into my smoothies, and it also helps with sperm count for guys. So you can just pop that in and give that to your husband. My next addition to trying to conceive vitamin eating healthy is royal jelly. I recently got this, and I guess it's the queen bee diet. It's basically like a really thick roasted type of honey, and you take 2 teaspoons of this a day when you have an empty stomach. Don't put it into hot water because that will just crush it. For me, I would take a spoonful of manuka honey in the morning anyways, so it isn't really hard to digest for me. but I can see it be a little bit of a struggle if you're not really good with just thick consistency and it being fairly sweet. The way that I treat this is like it's a little snack. I'm hungry, I want something sweet, I'll just grab a spoonful of this. Another helpful thing during this process are actually apps. They keep track of when you're fertile, when you're on your period. I've tried a few apps, and the two that I really love are Kindara and Glow. Now let me start with Kindara. The reason why I love this is because when you put in your temperature and the time that you did your sexy times, then you can it makes a little chart, and it tells you, it's really just visually easy to tell when you are ovulating and when you should be trying. And it's a really great community too, so if you have a question about your graph, you can just post it up and be like, I have a question, why does it look like it's not happening? And you'll actually have a lot of other females come in and give you some advice, which is awesome. And for Glow, the reason why I love that app is because you can actually have your husband or your boyfriend linked onto the app, and the app will tell him when it's time to do the deed. So when you are ovulating, they will tell you, hey, your name is fertile during this week and it's time to try. So I love that part. Glow also has a really great community page, but it also has just different topics that you can pick and choose that's not about your chart or about your period or anything like that. Just overall things. Even on relationships, they have people coming in and writing stuff. So it is fairly interesting, and I just love the way that you can be connected with your significant other. Sorry you guys if this was TMI, and I understand it has nothing to do with beauty, fashion, or DIY, but it is part of my life right now, and I thought when I made that self-image video, I told you guys I really wanted to get personal and get to know you guys, so I'm kind of opening up and letting you know what's going on with me right now. For all the ladies out there who are in their mid-late 20s, I just want you to take a moment and think about how many kids you want, and possibly maybe you want to freeze your eggs, or maybe you just want to start eating healthy and getting off the pill and just getting your body ready for that moment. I just want to let you know that because I didn't have anyone around me telling me all these things, and hopefully I can help. And if there are ladies out there that are struggling like I am, I just want to let you know that I am rooting for you, and I wish you the best of luck, and hopefully I'll come back and we can have a whole other discussion of things that you guys have done, and maybe if it ever happens to me, I can tell you what I have done. But yeah, hopefully you guys are really kind and understanding about this. One way or another, we will become a mother. You are not a failure. I know how it feels. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Hi everyone, it's Friedia here. I feel like I haven't done a favorites or monthly favorite in a very long time.